ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं वादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। वर्ष नंबर 394। आकाशवन्निरमल निर्विकल्पं निःसीम निस्पन्दन निर्विकारम् अन्तर्बहिर्शून्य अनन्यम् अद्वयं स्वयं परं ब्रह्म किमस्ति बोध्यम्। The translation is, like the sky, the Supreme Brahman is untainted, absolute, limitless, motionless, and without modifications. It has neither inside nor an outside. It is one existence and non-dual, and is oneself. Is there any other thing to be known? See the translation one more time. The Supreme Brahman is like the sky, pure, absolute, infinite, motionless, and changeless, devoid of interior or exterior, is one existence without second, and is one's own self. Is there any other object of knowledge than Brahman? For your meditation, to attain the state of non-dualism, to attain the state of oneness, he reminding again and again that absolute truth, Brahman. Many times had been explained in this textbook, but he is giving again same definitions of the self. Self is like sky, Akashvat. The example of the Brahman, Akash, the sky, is the best example. It is a subtle, and you can understand the sky. So, sky is the best example to understand Brahman. Akashvat. So there are some comparisons. Take one by one. The Brahman is Nirmal. Akashvat Nirmalam. Nirmala means pure. Like the sky is always pure. Sometimes in the sky there is dust. Sometimes in the sky there is clouds. And sometimes in the sky there is smoke. So many things in the sky can appear. Clouds, smoke, dust, but they could not make any impact in the sky. Sky remains untouched. The dust cannot make dirty to the sky. The smoke cannot pollute it. The sky is pure, always same. Nirmalam, the consciousness is pure, always. Impurity of the Brahman is ignorance. Because of ignorance, sometimes it appears impure. But the self is always pure. It is untouched by the ignorance. It is always chid, knowledge. If knowledge does not mean, if knowledge does not make any effect in the self, then consequence of the ignorance will not connect to the self. Self is always pure. So first example is sky. Brahman is like sky. Sky is pure always. So Brahman is also pure. The another is nirvikalpam. Nirvikalpa means the Brahman is absolute. Take the sky. Sky is absolute. You cannot compare anything with the sky. Sky is absolute alone. So Brahman is absolute, nirvikalpam. Next is nishim. Nishim means without boundary, no limit. The sky has no limit. No limit. Earth has its limit. Water has its limit. All other planets, galaxies also has their own limit. But sky is limitless, everywhere. So the supreme consciousness is like sky. It is limitless, nishim. Then comes nispandan. Nispandan means there is no movement. No movement. No activity. Because for a moment, for a motion, space is needed. Without space, motion is not possible. You can push or pull anything if there is a space. So space is must for movement. Everything can be moved. You can move anything. Anything can be moved except sky. Space does not have a space. Strange thing is, every other thing has space, but space does not have any space. That is why there is no movement. Same Brahman. Brahman has no movement. He cannot move because there is no space. Brahman is everywhere. Everywhere. Omnipresent. So omnipresent cannot move. Nishim. Nirvikaram. There is no modification. No modification. No any changes in the sky. Time has come, time will go. Satyug was there, Treta was, Dwapar, now Kalyug. Ages will come and go. But nothing will happen in the sky. Sky is the same. It was Treta, same sky is now. Nothing changes. Antarabhair Shunyam. Then comes the sky has no in the within and without. Within and without. In the sky there is no. Same. Ananyam, there is no two sky. Only one sky is everywhere. Ananyam. Advayam, without duality. Same, these all definitions you can apply in the Brahman. Brahman is nirvikalpam, nirmalam, boundaryless, without modification, no within, no without, space is everywhere, same consciousness also everywhere. Advayam, Swayam Param Brahma Kimasti Bodhyam. So you have to know the consciousness. And Shankaracharya says, it is Brahman and it is you. If once you have known that reality, if you have known that truth, then there is no other thing to know. It has two meanings. Kimasti Bodhyam, it has two meanings. One is, if you have known the Brahman, then nothing remains to know. Everything has to be understood. When you understand the Brahman, ekena vigyatena sarvam gyatam bhavati. Upanishad says, once you have known on the substratum, nothing remains to know. So, if you know Brahman, everything has known. Other is, if you have known the Brahman, what is the need to know other objects? Kim asti bodhabhyam. Now take another next one. Vaktavyam kimu vidyate tra bahuda brahmaiva jiva swayam brahma etat jagatat jagadatatam nushakalam brahma tvitiyam shrutihi brahmaivahamiti prabuddhamataya santyakta brahmi bhuya vasanti santat chidanandatmanai tat dhrugam. See the translation. Translation, you listen very carefully, because all thing is described in the translation. That is why I read twice. The translation says, what is the use of enlarging upon this subject? The individual is nothing but the Brahman only. The whole expanse of this universe is nothing but Brahman only. Shruti points out Brahman as being non-dual, and it is an undeniable fact that those who are enlightened, who have established their identity with Brahman, and who have given up their associations with the outside world, live ever in union with Brahman eternal knowledge and bliss. I say translation again. What is use of dilating on this subject? The Jiva is no other than Brahman. The entire expanded universe is Brahman itself. The Shruti inculcates the Brahman without second, and it is an undeniable fact that people of enlightened minds who knows their identify with Brahman and have given up their connection with the objective world, with Brahman and with eternal knowledge and bliss. Now, he takes another way to make understood. This is the way of direct describing. In brief, if disciple is ready, then this method can be used. There are two methods. One is method of description of with very examples, quotes, stories to make understand. Another way is direct. This way is, very briefly, it is sutra. Like Brahma Sutra, Yoga Sutra, same. Shankaracharya is a master in two methods. He can make understand, he can give stories, quotes. He wrote so many books, he wrote so many commentaries, so many stotras, but he is a master. He can say the whole message in very brief words. So let's understand. The first thing is, the matter is non-duality, oneness. There are so many doubts. The question is, what is duality? Duality means there are so many things. So first thing is Jiva, individual souls. Next is the universe. And third one is Brahman. These three are exists. Here, there are only three categories of the all dualities. First, we take Jiva. Jiva means what? Jiva means individual soul. Jiva is conscious, sentient, and we know everybody has its own private soul. Everybody has its own personal soul. In my body, I have my soul. In your body, you have your personal private soul, your private property. They, he, may, animals, creatures, birds, insects, everybody has its own private soul. This is our idea. And in this universe, there are unlimited bodies. You cannot count. There are very small body, there are very big body. The all universe also a body. cosmic body, the body of the God. So all universe is a body. And everybody has its own private, personal self, individual self. And there are so many bodies. That is why there are unlimited souls. This idea can be understood very easily. Very easily. Yes, that's right. Everybody has its own private body, private soul. So my soul, your soul, his soul, her soul, everywhere. Not one soul. So idea is that everybody has its own private, separate soul. Every jiva is different from other jiva. I am different from you. You are different from that. These are from that. Everybody is different. So there are so many souls. So there are so many souls. How can you say that there is a non-dualism? There is a oneness, one. Next point comes the word, object, inert. Individual soul is soul. It is a conscious. It is not inert. We believe that. Soul is not inert. But objects are inert. So if objects are different from the soul, inert world, all objects are inert. They are not conscious. And they are different from each other. Stone is not flower. Chair is not building. Every object is different from each other. So there are unlimited, unaccountable objects also. So one category is individual souls. They are unlimited. Another category is inert objects. They are also unlimited. No one can count. How can you say that there is oneness? And third one comes God, supreme consciousness. God is one. More or less, every religion, every philosophy admits that the ultimate God is one. There may be some other lower gods in their concept, but supreme authority is one. So God is one. Thus, there are three kinds of duality. These three levels of the duality. One is jiva, individual soul. Second is the objective world. And third one is God. There are three levels of duality. And every level, except God, has unlimited quantity of the duality. Then how can we say that there is oneness, one God, one consciousness? And Shankaracharya ji is giving answers. Very important words. He wrote, Slokardhena pravakshami yaduktam grantha kotivi brahma satyam jagan mithya jivo brahmaiva napara. He says, in half of slok, I state what has been stated by millions of books. And that is, Brahman alone is real, and this universe is mithya, and jiva is not different from the Brahman. I translate again. Topic very, very important. Slokardhena pravakshami. He says, in half of sloka, in half of verse, I state what has been stated by millions of texts, scriptures, and that is Brahma Satyam. Brahman alone is real. Jagat Mithya, and this Jagat, the universe, is Mithya appearance. And the Jivo Brahmaivana Para, the Jiva is not different from the Brahman. So this is the essence of all scriptures. Shankaracharya says, this is the essence of all scriptures. Jivo Brahmaivana Para. You have given three categories of the dualism. He takes one by one. Brahma Satyam, first is the Brahman is Satyam, absolute reality, doubtless reality. And Jiva, what is Jiva? Jiva means individual self, conditioned self, and remove the conditions. And only self-consciousness will remain. And what about the universe? He says, universe does not exist. Universe, just appearance. The world, inert world is just appearance. It does not have its own absolute reality. It is just opposite of the consciousness. It is a reflection of consciousness. It is not apart from the consciousness. So he gave answer. Brahman is alone truth, absolute. The Jiva, individual souls, are not separate from the Brahman because you remove their condition, and the world, objective world, it is just reflection of the universe, consciousness. Brahmaivahamiti prabuddhamataya samtyakta vahya sputam. And he says, thus, the Brahman alone is real, and that Brahman is not different from you. It is said, Brahman alone is real. He says, in Upanishads, scriptures, there are mantra, Sarvam Khalidam Brahma, Tad Jalaniti Shanta Upasita, Atakhalu Kratumaya Purusho, Yatha Kratu Asmin Loke Purusho Bhavati, Tatheta Prete Bhavati, Sakratum Kuruvita. This Chandyoga mantra. All this is the Brahman. Everything comes from Brahman. Everything goes back to the Brahman. And everything is sustained by the Brahman. One should therefore quietly meditate on Brahman. Each person has a mind of his own. What a person wills is his presence of life. So, Tad Chalan, the all universe is because of the Brahman. Brahmi Bhuya, now he says, understand this reality. This reality, the Brahman is not apart from the you are the Brahman. Now next one. Jahi mala mayakose aham dhiyothapitansaam prabhava nikam nilakampe linga dehe pipasyat nigama gadita kirti nityamananda murti shramapit parichiya Brahma Rupena Tishta. The translation is, first give up the desires generated by the sense of I in the physical body, a bundle of filth. Then with great persistence do the same with the subtle body, realizing Brahman, the personification of eternal bliss, which the scriptures praise as your own self, live as Brahman. In this verse, I say again translation. Translation is, first destroy the hopes raised by egoism in this filthy gross body. Then do the same forcibly with the ear-like subtle body. And realizing Brahman as embodiment of eternal bliss, whose glory is scriptures proclaim as their own self, live as Brahman. The message is in this verse, live as Brahman. He advises, live as Brahman, not as a body. So see how to become Brahman. He's saying the path. Jahi malamay kose aham dhiyo. We have two kinds of identification. Identification with the gross and identification with the subtle. First, we have to eliminate identification with the gross level. It would be easier. You can understand yourself that this body is not me. It is just opposite my nature. It is assembled by many parts. And I am one. I am not assembled. I am the one. And body is assembled. There are so many parts. It can be understood very easily. Just apply little sense. The body is assembly. In Sanskrit, we call it Sanghat. There are many parts, and there is a body. Because of destiny, we have got this body. Nothing wrong. Use this body. When this body was not with you, you were. You were before your birth. You will remain after body will die. Use it, but do not be attached. Do not be attached. Because of identification of body, there are so many desires. Obviously, desires will happen. Body has its requirement. Its requirement. So desires must be there. You cannot avoid them. And you cannot fulfill them. There is no way. There are so many methods propagating around you. There are so many people, they are giving guarantee they will fulfill your desires, your wishes. But not possible. They are telling lie. No one can do that. even God. Because our desires are oriented in the body. If you want free from desires, don't try to fulfill them. Just finish the identification about the body. Only way is just finish identification with the body. All desires will be disappear immediately. Immediately, not one by one. Shankaracharya says, Jahi malamaya kosho amdhyo tipitasa. The first thing is just remove identification with the body. Remember, you had many other bodies in past lives. You forget them. You don't remember them. There are many. And in future also, you will have many bodies and you would forget them. In your lifetime, with this body, if you can separate from this body, disidentify from this body, your desires will disappear. And once this identification has been done, then next comes your identification with the Brahman. Now identify yourself with the Brahman. So all subtle body and gross body, you have to disidentify yourself. Then Nigamagaditta Kirti Nityamananda Murti. Shankaracharya here is giving a very beautiful word, Ananda Murti. Nityam Ananda Murti. You are embodiment of the bliss and not the body. It is a dirty. You are the Ananda Murti. You are full of bliss. And your glory, the glory of the God, the glory of your consciousness, always Veda chants. So he says, understand yourself. Brahma Rupena Tishta, and live as a Brahman. Live as a Brahman. You can live always. You cannot die if you are as a Brahman. Now next one. Shabakaram yavat bhajati manujastavad asuchihi parebhya sat klesho janana marana vyadhi nilayah yadatmanam suddham kalayati shivakaram achalam tadatebhyo mukta bhavati tada srutirapi. The translation is, as long as one worships one's corpse-like body, one is impure and suffers from others and from birth, death, disease. But when one thinks of oneself as the pure, the auspicious, the immovable, certainly one becomes free from them. The Shruti also testify to this. I read again translation. As long as man has any regard for this corpus like body, he is impure and suffers from enemies as well as from birth, death, and diseases. But when he thinks of himself as pure as essence of God, and immovable, he assuredly becomes free from them. The Shruti also says this. In this verse, Shankaracharya used two words, very important. One is Shavakaram in very beginning. In third line, he says Shivakaram. Shivakaram, Shavakaram. Shava means corpus, dead body. Shiva means auspicious, liberation. So we think in this topic, let's understand the whole thing. Shankaracharya says, as long as bhajati, he used the word bhajati. In Sanskrit, bhajati means respect. Respect. Your body is with you. It is true. Use it. Respect the body. But body is for you. Remember always that you are the consciousness. For your use, you have body. You are not for the body. So you use it properly. Your body is your companion, your friend in this life. Your companion is very important. Your companion is your friend, your body. The first thing we have to understand, who is our true companion, true friend. Your first companion is your thought, your ideas. Your ideas, your thoughts are first your companion, your first friend. Outside friends are reflection of inner thoughts. You choose friends according to your thought. You choose friends, you make friends according to your ideas. If you have good idea, if you have good thought, you will choose good friends. So thought is first friend. And when thought changes, immediately change happens outside. Friends becomes enemy. The person is same. Personality is same. Nothing changes there. But my thought has changed. My thought has changed. That is why my friends also changed. So our real companion is my thought, my idea. So very important thing is the thought process should be very, very good. Because of wrong thought, we make our wrong companion, wrong friends. So making friend, making unfriend, it depends on the thought. Shankaracharya says, your body is yours. But be careful. He is very clear. Use your body, but don't serve your body. Bhajati. Bhajati means you वर्शिप, पूजा करना. If someone has respect like God to the body, Shankaracharya says, asuchihi, the effect of the bodies will come the person, to the person. He becomes impure because body is impure. Body is corpus. And corpus you cannot put in the house. You have to dispose it. It does not matter whose body. You have to dispose. He says, just disidentify yourself from the body. If you are identified with the body, then what will happen? Klesho, janana, marana. These miseries are bound to happen. The birth, the death, diseases. The body is nidhi. He says nidhi means the ocean of the problems. The identification of the body is ocean of the problems. One problem you solve, and the next one comes. Continuously, no one can solve. Only one solution is there. He says, just disidentify yourself from the body. Just change your thought. I am not the body. Body is for me. Then all your enemies will disappear. All your diseases, all your birth, all your death will disappear simultaneously. If immediately I am not the body, then all problems will disappear. He says, Janana Marana Vyadhi Nidhaya. So identification with the body discontinue. And you start new identification with the self. So if someone is identified with the self, if you connect yourself with yourself, then all things will change. In that state, there is no impurity, no birth, no death, no enemy, no friend. You have crossed all miseries. Tebhyo mukta bhavati. Now, two words, Shiv and Shav. The body is like Shav. Like Shav, it is Shav. And Shiva is the consciousness, auspicious. In Vedas, Rishi says, Tanme mana Shiv sankalpam mastu. He prays to God. Rishi prays to God, oh God, in my mind, give thought for auspiciousness. Auspicious. Auspicious for me, auspicious for the world. Tanme mana Shiva sankalpam mastu. So these two words, one is Shav, another is Shiv. Shav means corpus, dead body, impure. And Shiva means consciousness, auspicious. You take a decision to whom you want to make your companion. Tada tebhyo mukta bhavati srutihi. He says, Bhagavati Sruti says, you will liberate. Just one thing you have to do. discontinue identification with the body and identify with the self. All problems will disappear. You are mukta. Tebhyo mukta bhavati. You are liberated. Now, next one. Swatmanyaropita sesa bhasa sarvastu nirasatah swameva param brahma purnam advayam akriyam. Say the translation. When the apparent realities superimposed on the self are removed, then what remains is the Supreme Brahman, the infinite, non-dual, actionless, alone all by itself. See again the translation. By the elimination of all apparent existence superimposed on the soul, the Supreme Brahman, infinite, the one without second and beyond action, remains itself. Now the question is, consciousness is like Shiva, auspicious. How to attain it? How the self is Shiva? How to achieve it? How to gain it? It is being described in this verse. He says, Swatmani aropita ases sarva tu nirasata. Now we are entering in next topic. The topic is no diversity in reality. Another way to realization of the self. If we do not know the truth, suppose there is a thing in front of you, and you cannot understand what is this. There is one truth, and there are crowds. There are so many people, but no one knows truth. Then everyone starts imagination. This is this, this may be this is this. So no one knows truth. If it is not perceived rightly, then imagination starts. Then mind reads it many ways. So there is a crowd. We do not know reality. Then we impose. This may be this may be that. In Upanishads, there is saying, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Badanti. Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Badanti. Sat, reality is one. But imaginations are unlimited. Imaginations have no limit. The reality is one. And these limitations, these imaginations hide its substratum. We know something as it is not. That which is not there, we cannot see which is there. And one more thing we have to understand. Knowledge is objective and imaginations are subjective. Like, this is the book. If you know that this is the book, then you are right. If there is a flower, you know this is a flower, then you are right. If other than flower, whatever you know, you are wrong. Because knowledge is objective and your imaginations are subjective. In your meditation, you can think anyway. You are free. Whatever you can imagine. But if you want to know something, you want to know truth, you have to know the substratum of all imaginations. If substratum has been known, then all imaginations will disappear and the substratum will remain alone. That time, the seeker will encounter the truth. He says, Swatmani aropit abhas, in yourself, the substratum is the Brahman. Brahman is the substratum all of diversities. All diversities are imagination. They are because of your imagination. They are not real. They are up to you. Same world sometimes looks very beautiful, full of happiness, and another time the same world it is full of sadness. Nothing has happened to the world. Something has happened in you. And your changes reflects in the world. You create your own world. The outside world has nothing to do with you. You are not concerned with the world. You are concerned with your world. Everyone has its own created world. Shankaracharya says, just eliminate. Swaropit Atmani Ashesh Bhasa Nirasta. Remove the all imaginations. And Sameva Parabrahma. You are the Parabrahma. You are there. You watch there. But there are so many imaginations. Just remove the all imaginations. You are there. You are absolute truth. You are complete. You are without action. You are without second. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasisyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Sankaracharyam Keshavam Vadarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.